Hi, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your December 2021 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Now let's see what the tarot has to say. Scorpio. How will Scorpio be affected by the December 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the moon here, amplifying the power of the moon during this time. And we have the hermit. So the moon also represents Pisces energy, and the hermit represents Virgo energy. So if we have Pisces or Virgo within our natal chart, this is going to come through as a core part of our personality. Then we have the devil in our inner self. And we have the devil is Capricorn energy. So this energy here, if we have this within our natal chart, is going to be coming through very powerfully within our inner selves. We have the Knight of Swords and the King of Cups. We're represented by the cups in the minor arcana. We're represented by the death card in the major arcana. So with the air sign energy, it is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This moon is going to be a mover and shaker moon for us. It's really going to propel us forward. And then in the public arena, we have the Emperor, which is Aries energy, and we have the Ace of Swords. So we're taking this gift, definitely. It's not going to feel as if we're taking this gift as it would if this was, the Ace of Swords was here at our heart with the Knight of Swords, or if the Knight of Swords was here in our public arena self. But with the Emperor, we are embracing our passion and our power. We are saying, I am worth standing up for what I want and the way that I need to move forward within my life and for myself. Now let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. This is the King of Pentacles, earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We need to be mindful of putting too much material weight on things and having people tell us the worth of things based on their monetary value, based on their judgment or their way of looking and scaling wealth or what they are developing. So here, it's staying true to what we know is important within our lives, and it's also looking at the bigger picture of what we want and of how we're moving forward. So that's going to be very important during this time, not to start measuring ourselves against everybody else's standards. It doesn't mean that we don't care about things that, keep the lights on, keep food on the table, but what it means is that we don't start, selling away our dreams or selling away what we really desire in order to be what somebody else expects us to be. It moves us to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. This is balance. This is the root chakra. We need to be in balance with our souls, with ourselves, with the way that we want to move forward in our lives, with what it is that we're looking for. This is at the root of us. We need to be balanced. We need to be centered in what we want and how we're embracing our dreams and our desires. That's going to be a very big thing for us during this time. Now, on the 18th of December, let's talk about this moon astrologically. We have the full moon in Gemini. And this says here, the answers you need are coming. This moon is going to bring a lot of answers. It starts on the 18th and moves into the 19th because it's like at 11:35, I think, Eastern Standard Time, that, the full moon comes to its apex of power, and it goes into the 19th of December. So here we're going to see a lot of the answers we need are coming forward. A lot of things are coming forward. Why? Because this is the best way to end 2021. This is the best moon to kind of give us the send-off, to really move us forward into the angel number year of 222, 2022, where we have new beginnings really coming forward. The full moon is in Gemini. Now, this is an astoundingly lucky energy, therefore making us very lucky during this time. This is because of the strong influence of Jupiter, which really helps propel us forward in the best possible way, because Jupiter is one of the most positive planets. Now, we have to be mindful and aware that also, everything's not going to be smooth sailing. There will be some hiccups along the way, but there are going to be things that we inevitably are able to work through and overcome. Now, the sun is opposite the moon, which is how every full moon begins, with the sun opposite the moon. It lasts for about 2 weeks after the full moon. The energy that's really coming forward, it can last longer for those of us who are sensitive to it. This moon can linger, but it's a good moon to linger. Energies can linger with us at certain times, depending on the messages that we need to learn. Always here during the full moon, always our close relationships are put into focus. We are also very aware of the different directions that we're being pulled in, and we have to be very open, very honest with ourselves if we are being drained, if this is something that is overwhelming us. We have to step back and say, what's going on here? What energy is affecting me and why? And it can be certain people, it can be certain things that are happening during the holiday season, or just that, that are pulling us in very different directions. Emotions and intuition reach their peak under this full moon. Our increased emotional strength and intuition helps us to see what we really need to focus on and helps us to overcome any challenges. We also are more aware of the subconscious understanding, and we're also going to find ourselves relying on our intuition, relying on really what we desire. That's why it's going to be so important for us not to have other people telling us, this is what's important, this isn't, because even though that might be the way that it works, like at work and things like that, and we might need to compromise, what we also need to know is what's important to our hearts and our souls and ourselves, and what we really need to pay attention to during this time, because this is the end of a cycle. The full moon always signifies a spotlight that is put on the end of the cycle that started with the new moon, and that propels us forward into the next place that we want to be, into our next journey. And it also tells us what we need to let go of, what we can't hold on to anymore because it's draining us and pulling us down. The last hours of the North Lunar Node will be in Gemini. Now, Gemini is represented and ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in Capricorn. We have strong Capricorn energy here within our inner self, so this is going to be very good for us. This also makes the energy of the North Lunar Node in Gemini much more rational, much more grounded, not the usual kind of like flighty energy of Gemini. And I know that Geminis aren't necessarily flighty, but that's how they can be perceived, because it's like, okay, if this doesn't spark my interest, if this isn't right for me, I'm just going to move on. I'm not going to wait until it sucks the life out of me. That's how Geminis operate. So this means that we will be able to perceive articulate and achieve what it is that we really want by harnessing this power of Capricorn, this steadfastness, this grounded rationality, as well as the quick judgment, quick insight, witty understanding, or, quick mental understanding of the Gemini energy coming forward. This is fantastic for being able to really help us set our goals for 2022. And this also helps us to achieve what we set out to achieve. The full moon is in discord with Neptune, and that does play a role for us because we have Pisces right here at our root. We have the moon, which is representative of Pisces, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Neptune is our spiritual understanding. It's our sixth sense. It's our beliefs and our hopes and our wants and our needs. Now, Neptune will have us looking at things from a higher spiritual understanding. What we're going to see here is what we're really looking at and how our dreams start to be incorporated into our lives and what it is that our soul is craving and how that can come forward into our waking world. And so this is going to be a time where we're connecting more and more with ourselves if we let that gate be opened, if we let ourselves dare to dream, that big, dare to be that empowered. Lilith, the black moon, is in Gemini. All right. And this makes it so that we are believing in something that just isn't true. It can be that somebody told us something, we never verified it because we could trust them, or why would you lie about this? And now we're going to find that, nope, this wasn't a person we could trust, or nope, our information was wrong. And now we're going off of, kind of bad information. Always make sure to check our facts during this time and wait till about the 20th. Around the 20th is going to be where the influence of the black moon starts to clear up, and we can see ourselves making decisions without other people's preconceived notions or other people's influences really hanging over us. The full moon is trine Jupiter, and this is really good. This brings positivity, it brings good luck, it brings wealth, it brings abundance and happiness. We will have the ability to grow spiritually and personally, and this will lead us to a happier being, a happiness within ourselves. It will improve our health and will also make us wiser. So it's kind of like we're stepping into our bodies more and more. We're seeing what we need. We're seeing what guides us forward. We're seeing how we can succeed. We don't feel as alone during this alignment because it's easier for us to share our feelings. It's easier for us to communicate. We're also going to find great rewards in our relationships and through socialization. There's going to be a sense of connection here. We'll be open and honest with our goals and what we are looking for in life and what it is that we really want. Now, this benefits us personally and in business with our relationships, with the way that we want to move forward, but we also have to be mindful of not sharing too much with lower energy vibrational people, not sharing too much with people whose main instinct will be to be jealous, to sabotage, to try and overthrow. So just be mindful of this during this time because we're going to be in a really good place. And this energy may not very well be reciprocated by those around us. This is a fantastic moon for the holiday season because it spreads goodwill and generosity. The full moon is quincus Venus. Now, this comes through here. No, it doesn't come through. Yes, because Virgo is not ruled by Venus, it's ruled by Mercury. So no, it doesn't come through at all, but I do see it having a link to our hearts and our dreams and what it is that we really, really want. And it's something that we're holding back for ourselves, but yet it's something that's coming forward. So there's this little bit of a battle between our hearts here during this time. So just be mindful of this as we're turning inward with the full moon quincus Venus. So Venus goes into retrograde 6 hours after the full moon. So this is on the 19th of December. This makes things tricky, but what's also going to be really important is that Jupiter is really stepping up. It's really, sitting there, and its energy, its positive energy is astoundingly strong. It's a much stronger alignment during this time than Venus's alignment with the full moon. And so this positive energy is really going to help propel us to the place that we want to be. The full moon quincus Venus also increases our need for love and affection. Things will become tricky if we feel our relationships aren't balanced. And this is why balance at our root chakra is so important for us, because this can cause us to feel taken advantage of or smothered. So just be aware of this. This isn't the time to act, but to step back, to look at our own hearts and our desires and say, how am I calling love into my life? How am I loving myself? How am I putting, what needs am I putting forward or first within my life? And am I putting up with things that aren't okay, and why? Am I putting up with things from other people? Am I putting up with things from myself? Is there, self-sabotaging going on? Is there a sense of chaos within our own goals and our own dreams? As things are starting to clear up for a lot of us, we can see chaos rising first, and then the clarity comes. Even if we're not in romantic relationships, when we're looking at things, when we're saying, what do I need from the relationships that I'm in? It's with our family, it's with our friends, it's with ourselves. And calling ourselves out on what our heart needs and what we need at this time is going to be so important. The full moon is quincus Pluto. Now, we are ruled by Pluto, Scorpio. So here, this alignment is going to be a bit more intense. This alignment can increase our imbalance in our relationships. It can make us, get real really fast. So what happens here is we start to see things and it's like, oh, but that's what I want and not that. This is what I need and not that. And all of a sudden we're like weeding out the garden. We're getting rid of all the muck and the mire, all the debris and all the chaos that is holding us back and that isn't letting us move forward. We also need to share our feelings with someone we trust, a family member, a friend, a therapist, a spiritual advisor. This way we can avoid a crisis. And for some of us, most definitely, we can feel a crisis coming. And it's going to be more so for us, Scorpio, because we are ruled by Pluto, than it is going to be for others. So just be mindful of this. We need to release this energy before it builds up within us and just explodes like a top. Venus is conjunct Pluto. Again, stronger for us because we are ruled by Pluto. This makes us in love with the idea of being in love. We will want to increase our love and our affection in our lives, and we will have to make sure that we're not sweeping, what's really important under the rug and really going after lust, going after that brilliant, shiny, kind of like new toy of connection that can take away all other worries, doubts, fears, because now we're just being swept up in lust and not love. So be mindful of this. We're going to really have a tendency to move towards the eros love, the erotic love, and not the agape love, not the familiar love, not the love that we can build off of or that is a solid foundation. This would be the love that isn't love, it's lust, and that can burn out rather quickly. So just be aware of this and hear what our hearts are saying to us during this time, because we're going to be talking quite loudly. Now we have the fixed star Betelgeuse, which is located in the constellation of Orion. This brings material honor, promotion, and wealth. It also reveals immense strength. But the question is, how will we use that strength? And also, why will this strength be coming up? There's going to be some sort of stress in our lives that makes this intensity, that makes this strength come forward, and that moves us in a direction that we hadn't thought we would be moving in. This is also known as the workaholic star, so it brings nothing in halves. We're either all in or not at all, and that's going to be with absolutely everything. This alignment with the power of the moon makes us swift-minded, strong-willed, rebellious, restless. If we're feeling controlled, we do not want to be controlled at all. We're not going to want anything to have authority over us. So be mindful of that. We will be we're just not going to want to have anybody having authority over us. And it can bring us also great power, great honor, and great wealth if we let ourselves be driven and focused and work hard and really be almost a little bit single-minded during this time. Now, we also have within the constellation of Orion, this brings to us strength, and it brings to us dignity and self-confidence. It also brings inconsistency, arrogance, violence, and impiety. So do be mindful of this, that we might have the reverence for things that we once did, and we might think that we already know, and that's from Betelgeuse coming forward and making us think that we have a greater hand than we actually do. It's, if we're playing cards, it's kind of like I'm working out of the assumption that I have more, that I have more than I really do. So be mindful of that. There is also success in trade, especially overseas trade during this time. So that's something good to be mindful of. Now, we have this fixed star Polaris, which is located in the constellation of Ursa Minor. Now, this is not as positive as Betelgeuse, even though Betelgeuse does have its, hiccups along the way. But this star can cause sickness, it can cause trouble, it can cause loss of fortune, it can cause disgrace. In legal and inheritance issues, it can get evil attention it can bring evil attention to legal and inheritance issues. So just be mindful of this, that it has a way of mucking things up. Now, this star is a guide to what we need to look at and what we need to fix. It's kind of like the little cracks before they become huge caverns. So be mindful of this. Astrologically speaking, the bear, okay, Ursa Minor and Ursa Major, all right, have us looking. Okay, so astrologically speaking, the bear were said to be an evil influence, especially in regards to nations and kings. This can be the time where Ursa Major or Ursa Minor is really calling out the cracks within things and saying, fix it or it falls apart. Because I do see this more as being a bigger issue. Polaris will be a bigger issue for nations than it will be for individuals. But the fact of the matter is that if it's a bigger issue for nations or for leaders, it then trickles down and will wind up holding things anyway. So just be aware of this. The moon comes forward, right? The moon is going to be astoundingly powerful for us. There's a sense here of facing fears, facing things that have held us back, facing doubts, facing chaos, facing hurts, facing pains. And now we're looking at ourselves and saying, what is the way that I want to move forward? Who am I? What do I want from myself and from my life? This moon puts us in focus with ourselves in a way that we're just not expecting. It's putting in alignment our subconscious and conscious self. It's having us see us more openly and more honestly and more clearly. And that has us moving inward. It has us looking at things and saying, I don't want it sugar-coated. I just want to see how it is. And we might find during this time, even though we're really good in social situations and we find actually a lot of pleasure from it, we're going to need to look inward. And we're going to find that there are just going to be moments during this time where we're looking at our inner self. We're looking at what's truly important for us. We're looking at what we need and what we desire and how we really want to move forward in our lives. And all of a sudden, we're looking at everything that has tempted us, everything that has tried to hold us back, everything that we thought, this is the way that you're supposed to do it, type of sentimentality here. And it's going to be like, no, I need to break free of the chains. These can be addictions. These could be, things that people praise us for. And they don't realize that if we don't get that praise, we feel incomplete in our inner selves. So this could be, eating really healthy or working out, really well, or, putting other people's needs before our own, being self-sacrificing all the time. And people be like, oh my gosh, you're just so great. And yet if we don't have that, we'll feel like we'll fall apart. And so here, Spirit's saying, be very mindful, because even when people praise us, it might not necessarily be something that is good for us emotionally, spiritually, in order to move forward, in order to embrace what we want. We need to see what's sucking the life out of us and why, what's holding us back, what's being overwhelming, what's denying us. And then we find ourselves embracing judgment. We find ourselves rising out of the ashes. We find ourselves, moving towards so much more than we expected. And as we do this, we see us more. We see what we need. We see what we want. We see how we're moving forward. We see what we are developing towards and what we're developing into. So there's a real sense of breaking out of the box and breaking out of the confinement that we had found ourselves in. The Knight of Swords, this is the fastest moving knight. So we can actually feel a little bit overwhelmed by this because we are the second slowest moving knight, the Knight of Cups. So here, there's just a quickness of mind. There's an intensity of self. With the Knight of Swords and the King of Cups coming forward, the knight defends the king. So what we have here is we have our mind and our words and our, quick thinking and the way of perceiving the world, protecting our hearts and guarding what it is that emotionally we find most valuable to us. What here we're cloaking ourselves, or why here we're cloaking ourselves in our heart chakra, why we're not letting, all the chaos of the world sweep us down, knock us down, deny us, try to break us. What we're going to be doing here is moving forward in tenacity and insight and passion and brilliance. And it brings us to the Emperor. It brings us to a place where we're starting to really see our worth. And it's coming through in the public arena. And this is where we want people to know, I see my worth. I see my passion. I see what I desire within my life. This is what I need. And this is who I am. So nothing holds us back. There is a real sense of I claim my throne, but I also claim my power. And nobody gets to usurp me. Nobody gets to take this from me. Nobody gets to have me deny the power that is me. And it brings us to the Ace of Swords. It brings us to God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. It brings us clarity. It brings us insight. It has us looking at the world in such a new way, which is fantastic for the end of one year and the beginning of another. So let's look at what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. At our root, we have communication is key with the new moon in Gemini, and then release. By communicating what we need and what we want, knowing that we have a strong connection to the Gemini energy of this moon and of this time, we need to release what is toxic within us, what is holding us back. We're going to start seeing ourselves in a much more direct, much more, open, much more intense way than we have before. It brings us to our inner self and our inner moon message, which says, be bold and make the first move. Because we have grown so much. We're going to be judging ourselves a lot, especially our limitations, the things that we feel like we're chained to. We're going to be judging ourselves from old standards, from things that it's just not the same anymore. And now we find ourselves growing. We find ourselves becoming more. And we need to be bold. We need to make the first move. We need to understand that we're not the same person that we once were. And that brings us to our lunar emotional self. And it says the end of a tough cycle approaches. Will we take advantage of it? Or will we think that we're trapped in this tough cycle, in this, pain and suffering and hurt and, overwhelmed energy? It brings us to our lunar public arena self. And it says, show the world the real you, blossoming. Because by showing the world the real you, here, Scorpio, we blossom into who we are meant to be, how we are supposed to be moving forward in our lives, and what it is that we truly desire. It moves us to our subconscious lunar message, which is you and your loved ones are safe, meaning that we are secure, we are taken care of. The path. Now it is time to follow our path. Even though it might seem to be absolutely absurd, or we might be thinking, oh my gosh, can I really head in that direction? That wasn't what I had anticipated for myself or thought for myself. And what Spirit is saying now is that things are better than we realize. We need to head to the path, and we need to walk to the beat of our own drum. We need to head on the path of our awakening, of our existence, of what we desire. And it's going to lead us in a direction that we hadn't anticipated, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be bad. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and it's the Hierophant. The Hierophant is Taurus energy, but this is also thinking that it has to be, a very traditional way. It has to be rooted in this institution, just the way that it has always been done. And what Spirit's saying here is break the mold. Break the mold. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy. And it's the sacral chakra. It's flexibility. It's being able to embrace the flexibility of our mind and of our spirit and of ourselves and of what we desire. It's coming out of a box or negative energy that we have been in for so long, from this life, from past lives. Because remember, the sacral chakra holds all the chaotic energy from this life or from past lives, and from past lives. And so here we have creativity and we have sensuality coming forward. We need to be flexible with the power that is us. It moves us to our subconscious rooted energy. And this is the Lovers. Subconsciously, Gemini energy is coming forward. The Lovers represents Gemini in the major arcana. Subconsciously, we are more affected by this moon than we know. This moon plays a bigger role. This plays a bigger role in our lives than we're going to see initially. It moves us to our subconscious inner self, and it's the Eight of Swords. We can be in our own heads, doubting, fearing, very much trapped, like we feel trapped by the devil, right? That energy of trapped, I can't move forward, I can't obtain what it is that my heart needs me to obtain, I'm stuck here. And Spirit's saying, no, no, you're not. No, you're not. Don't put yourself in that confinement. The inner self with the devil and judgment is all about breaking free. It's all about seeing the false chains that have bound us and saying, no, no, I'm not held back this way. I'm not held back anymore. And it moves us to our subconscious emotional self. And that is the King of Wands. We have the King of Cups. Now we have the King of Wands. Fire and passion and determination and focus with the Knight of Air guarding both. This is fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This is transformation. This is new beginnings. This is being cloaked in the sacral chakra. This is embracing our passion and our creativity. It brings us to our subconscious public arena self, and that's the Sun. It's the happiest card in the whole entire deck. It is the Sun opposite the Moon that starts the story of the full moon. And that's the energy that we have coming forward here. This full moon means more to us and has a greater effect on us than we realize. The Sun is happiness and it's joy and it's prosperity, but it's also us being radiant and people taking us by eyes because there's something different about us. There's a beauty to us. There's an intensity to us that they want and yet we have. So just be mindful of that. All right, Scorpio. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this full moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Scorpio, and may you have a blessed moon.